Hi everyone, welcome to week 2. I'm excited to move forward. I just wanted to start with a passage from Psalms that's been really special to me this week, from Psalm 46. It says, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea." It was just such a special promise to me because honestly, in the past week, there were times that, my heart was pretty troubled, especially when I found out that we weren't going to be able to come back to campus. That was just a real downer for me. And so I'm sure that you guys are feeling that too. And so I just hope you can find comfort in this passage. You know, not being able to come back to campus was an indication that things weren't going in the right direction yet. We trust in a God who is sovereign over this whole coronavirus situation, and we know that He is on the throne. And so we, rest in that hope, and we do not fear, right? And even when we do fear, we don't, because we know the God who controls all. I love the way this passage ends. It's the passage that is probably very familiar to you guys too. The verse says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." And we will see that. We haven't seen the end of this story, but we know that the God who has written the story, so we trust in that. And just know that I continue to pray for you guys daily. I miss you guys. I just I am motivated to do this online learning thing the best that we can do it, but another part of me is just kind of like, I want you here instead. So but meanwhile, we're going to do the best that we can, and I'm excited as I've been planning this next module. Excited for what it holds for us and the learning that it holds. So let me see if I can center this a little bit, and we'll walk through the learning module together. And for whatever reason, I can't stretch out my little viewing screen here, but I think we can get the job done yet. By the way, I should mention the tools that I'm using, or maybe you recognize them. The one that I'm using right now is called Screencast-O-Matic, and it's a free tool, and it's obviously very easy to use. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using it. So you don't have to be a genius in order to utilize this screen sharing tool. And with it, I will just kind of walk through our learning guide for week 2. All right, I'm much happier now. I had to stop the recording in order to stretch out the screen, so I think we're good to go. You're going to see some familiar pieces again. I'm trying not to change these learning guides from week to week. I want the format to stay fairly consistent as we finish out the semester now online. So hopefully it's making sense. You've gotten used to the structure. You'll see our Community Hub section here. Same stuff as before. Thank you, Lindsay, for sharing a praise. You guys take a look at that. Let's join with Lindsay in just praising God for the week that we had prior to kicking things off, just to kind of reacclimate, reorient. Please continue to add your prayer requests, your praises, so we can be a community in that way. I have added some more details to our modified weekly course list. Actually, I'll just kind of give you a peek at that. You'll see some due dates that I have updated, and I will continue to do that. That's on my to-do list for tomorrow. I know that on Canvas there's still some assessments that I need to tweak the due dates to reflect the changes that have occurred. Also, in response to feedback that I've been getting from people, and I thank you for that, either via the Google form survey that you filled out or just as we've talked on Zoom, I'm adding office hours, some set office hours. So if you're free and you want to jump on, and not only could you talk to me and ask questions and we can have discussions, but other classmates might be on at the same time, and I know probably by now you're missing each other. So it would be just a really good community time if you want to jump on, even for a portion of that time block that we were ordinarily together for Education 203. So that's there. Also, if you didn't get a chance to add to the Flipgrid, please do that. I've heard people say that this has been just a neat way to see how everyone's doing. So I encourage you to do that. Log in with your DORT.edu email, and you can see that lots of people have added a little video so we can see how everyone's doing here, where they are, and so forth. Just another way to continue to build community. So please take the time to do that if you haven't already. Let's look at our learning guide. This week is heavier on reading, maybe not even as many pages as you had the Von Brummelen chapter last week, but shorter articles. All of these articles, I think, will challenge your thinking, especially the Bucket of Points article written by our very own Dr. Mulder. We have a standards-based grading article. So this is an alternative to traditional grading that I would like you guys to at least be familiar with. You may not use all of the pieces of standards-based grading in your own assessment practices, but even if there are aspects of it that you would incorporate and create somewhat of a hybrid, I think this could be really beneficial. You will recognize maybe some pieces of standards-based grading in the way we assess as a department at DORT, as we use the INTAS standards, and we evaluate you not only the assessments that happen within each individual course, but we're also assessing you against the INTAS standards. So you might see some aspects of it there. We're going to be creating a rubric in our unit. So let's start talking about that. This article will help you understand how to develop rubrics. Here's just a short little list, really. It's a list and short descriptions of a variety of different formative assessment strategies. So take a look at that, use it as a resource as you're thinking about formative assessment for your own unit, and also as you're thinking about this next big assessment that we'll be writing this week, the assessment belief statement. Okay? You, I guarantee, will enjoy this video, and it will challenge your thinking. Rick Warmelly is a guru on the topic of assessment, especially standards-based assessment. So listen with an open mind and see what you agree with. I think that he definitely will challenge your thinking. Here also is a link to the teaching channel. This is a blog that is full of hyperlinks. Each hyperlink has another mini article or a video. I would love it if you would just really explore this one. There's tons of good ideas here. You'll see it kind of laid out. Each of these are hyperlinks, so you can further explore. Some of these you'll recognize. Fists to 5 as a strategy. The 4 corners, we did that in our class right before break. Exit tickets, bell ringers, all of these are formative assessment strategies. This one I love. Please listen to this video. I think it will be just a real powerful strategy that hopefully you can pick up and use somehow in your own class someday, and definitely maybe think about incorporating it into your unit. All right, so the presentation portion of this week is found here on a voice thread. Okay, listen to the little explanations. If you've never used VoiceThread, you'll get a chance this week actually. And I would encourage you to maybe even consider using it in your own teaching someday. So in VoiceThread, you're going to see our slide deck. But also on the side, every time there's a little box, this is a little video clip. I'll give you an example here. You'll be happy to know that I am not going to expound on every one of the slides in this slide deck. But I do want to just give space for you guys also to, as you review the slides, if you have questions, you can also make a little recording like I'm doing and just add it to the slides. Okay, so think about that this is more of a conversation going forward. So again, I'm going to skip over many of these slides, especially the first 18, because it's stuff we covered last week in week 1 online. But feel free to go back, review, and add your comments along the way. All right. So you guys can add your own little video clips by clicking this little camera, okay? So as you're navigating through this slide deck, and I can't get to my little arrow, but anyway, there's a little arrow here in the corner, and you click through. Anytime you see this little box, that's going to be me. I'll pop up. I'll have a little blurb, less than a minute. I promise that I'm not going to talk too much. But since I'm not providing all of the dialogue, there may be some questions along the way. And I want you to interject those into this voice thread as they come up, okay? Or maybe you won't have any questions. I kind of highly doubt that. If you don't, give a comment, all right? And if VoiceThread is a challenge and you would rather not use it, you would rather just add your comments or your questions to this discussion board, this is linked in the Community Hub, and you may gladly do that as well. So feel free. All right. I should mention that with the teaching channel, you might have to create your own account. It's free up to a certain extent as long as you're not like watching a ton of videos. I think it's free up through the first 5 videos or something like that. But if you have to make an account, don't be surprised. And it is free, and they won't sell your information, so you should be good. Quizlet. There is some key terminology for this unit, and we've used a Quizlet before to practice that, so I linked that here. This is the key terminology for the assessment unit. Ruberstar I reference in the voice thread, and this is the link that you can take a look and navigate that website so that you can learn to use it or even find models for rubrics and so forth. You will be creating a rubric for your unit, so maybe navigate and explore that a little bit so you know how to use that if you desire. Otherwise, it will give you lots of different models for rubrics. Okay, so this is kind of the big piece that we're going to be doing this week, and that's why I'm not assigning any smaller writing projects like discussion boards other than your comments in the voice thread. The assessment belief statement was an original assessment for this course. I'm keeping it. I think it's a good one. Basically, you're going back to your own beliefs, and maybe some of those are reflected in the 10 belief statements that we covered way at the beginning of the unit when we did that agree, disagree activity, okay? So reflect on those kinds of things. Reflect on what you have always believed about assessment, about evaluation, about testing, and all of that. And then think about what you've read since or are continuing to read, and consider what is challenging to your previous thinking, or maybe what has affirmed your previous thinking. And that's what this paper is going to look like. I did add some additional instructions because people in the past have had a lot of question as to what this is supposed to look like. Is it just a traditional paper? I think it can look like a lot of things, okay? However it makes the most sense to you. I'm suggesting a possible outline for how your paper might look. I'm not telling you how to do it because you guys you're high quality students and you know how to write good papers, right? So I'm trusting that you're going to get these ideas down in the most logical way that makes the most sense to you while following the assignment guidelines and also the rubric down here. So basically, I think mainly take note that you are stating 5 of your own beliefs about assessment, at least 5, and you're stating at least 5 of your own beliefs regarding evaluation. So you have at least 10 statements regarding assessment and evaluation, right? And then you're going to list 10 tools, okay, and describe them. Clearly explain them, it says. And another piece of this is that you tell how your beliefs have changed or how research affirms. So I'm running out of time, guys. Ask if you have any questions.